Good afternoon, hello, and welcome to the Omni Coalition News Show, aka TOCNS. This show's an amalgam of strange, weird, bizarre, off-the-wall, and otherwise things you don't normally see anymore from most news sources these days. During a time of political overabundance and divisiveness, we present you with more unifying topics to discuss. For links to the articles, the music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar in the description below. Anyway, I'm Xander, and you are you. Today is Tears Day, aka Tuesday, aka Tuesday, March 4th, 2023. 4423. Alright. Let's jump into the news today, shall we? Starting us off from Oddity Central. Bearded man entered female powerlifting competition as a woman and set a new record. Well, because that's a competition for women, and he's a man. Alright. A male professional powerlifter recently entered a women's competition by simply stating that he identified as a woman and easily won first place by smashing the regional record for bench pressing by almost 100 pounds. Wow. A.V. Silverberg, the head coach for Team Canada Powerlifting, entered the Heroes Classic Women's Tournament in Lethbridge, Alberta, on Saturday by identifying as a woman despite being fully bearded and having undergone no hormone therapy. The tournament rules stated that participants, quote, should be able to participate in the gender with which they identify and not be subject to requirements for disclosure of personal information beyond those required of cisgender athletes, end quote. So Silverberg decided to prove a point. He casually walked on stage and bench pressed nearly 370 pounds, beating the Alberta women's record of 275 pounds by almost 100 pounds. So 95 pounds. So, wow. Point proven, here, let me adjust my camera here, So let's move on up here. More from Oddity Central. Company brings back woolly mammoth as giant meatballs. We've covered this before, so I'm just going to read these paragraphs here. An Australian company specializing in cultivated meat recently unveiled a giant meatball allegedly made from lab-grown meat using woolly mammoth DNA. Alright. While most cultured meat companies are focused on producing alternatives to conventional meats like chicken, beef, and pork, Australian startup Vow is taking a different approach. It is focusing on mixing and matching cells from different unconventional animal species, even ones that have been extinct for thousands of years. To prove that it can be done, Vow took the DNA sequence from mammoth myoglobin, a key muscle protein in giving the meat its flavor, and filled the few gaps in the strand with elephant DNA. They then put the sequence in myoplast stem cells from a sheep and grew the tens of billions of cells necessary to create the lab-grown meat. So there you go. Now we have mammoth meat. Alright. Let's move on up. More from Oddity Central. 20-year-old boiled egg looks like a blood-red ruby. This is interesting. A Chinese woman stunned the internet with photos of a 20-year-old boiled egg that she had preserved as a young girl and then forgotten about. It is fossilized and now resembles a ruby. The woman, surnamed Fu, posted photos of the fossilized egg on Chinese social media platform Douban, where they quickly attracted people's attention and went viral. It wasn't long before mainstream news outlets started contacting her about the unique egg, wanting to know its story. Apparently, the woman's mother bought it for her 20 years ago, and when she was still in primary school, because she was unusually small, or because it was unusually small in size. Her mother boiled it for her to eat at school, but after storing it in a side pocket of her backpack, she forgot about it for 3 days and dared not eat it after that, thinking it had spoiled. But she didn't want to throw the delicate egg away either, so she put it on top of the refrigerator and completely forgot about it for a couple of months. So when the woman's mother finally found the egg, again, it had already changed color to a dark burgundy red, so she decided to keep it in a small jewelry box instead of throwing it away. As the years passed, Fu moved out of her parents' house and forgot about the preserved egg, but her mother recently found it while cleaning and showed it to her. Not only had the egg fossilized further, but it now had the smooth texture of a plastic ball with fine cracks all over it. Wow, so that's a fossilized boiled egg. That is beyond bad. I would not eat it, but that is incredible. So I wonder if there's going to be a science to make egg jewelry now. So, like, to age an egg 20 years, fossilize it, and then you have an egg ruby. That's going to be interesting. Let's move on up. More from Oddity Central here. Europe's highest train station looks like a supervillain's secret base. I've seen a video about this. I've been watching this one guy. He has like long hair and he kind of looks like a hippie. But he loves going on trains, tramways, cable cars, anything that has a track. Anyway, high up in the Swiss Alps at an altitude of almost 3,500 meters or 11,332 feet, that is about 2 miles up in the air, lies Jungfraujoch, Europe's highest train station, a wonder of human engineering that has been around for over a century, which is 100 years. The train doesn't seem like the best means of transportation when trying to climb a mountain, but the Swiss would beg to differ, and they have proof to back up their claims. At the end of the 19th century, they began work on a project unlike any other, the Jungfraubahn, a steep railway through the Burmese Alps, all the way to the top of Europe, and at the end of the Jungfraubahn Railway, they built Jungfraujoch, a spectacular train station perched on a rock between the Jungfrau and Mönch Mountains, both of which soar over 4,000 meters. Today, Jungfraujoch is officially recognized as the highest train station in Europe and is one of Switzerland's most popular attractions. Alright, yeah, look at that, all the way up there. It does look like an evil layer. That's pretty cool. And yeah, of course, for further reading on these articles, please refer to the underbar of the description below. It has links to all of these articles as well as anything else we may find. Anyway, moving on up to UPI, South Carolina man breaks mustache record at 2 feet 1 inch long. I must ask you a question. How long did it take to grow that? South Carolina man's 2 foot 1 inch whiskers earned him the Guinness World Record for the longest mustache on a living person. Paul Solzar of Somerville had the length of his mustache verified at the National Beard and Mustache Championships in Casper, Wyoming, and the measurement was submitted to Guinness World Records for official verification. Solzar sports an English-style mustache defined by the World Beard and Mustache Championship as slender, beginning from the middle of the upper lip with the hairs extremely long and pulled to the side. Tips may be lifted slightly. The facial hair enthusiast says he sported a mustache for about 30 years. Alright, so that's one hell of a stash right there, my friend. So, I wonder if it's wider than some door frames. That'd be interesting. That looks like something out of a movie, like a character with a very wide mustache, and as he walks through a door, it's always like hitting the door or something. I don't know, maybe he overly whacks it and it, like, it stops him from a bunk, Anyway, moving on up more from UPI, Egyptian man breaks world record with 7-mile swim in handcuffs. That's dangerous. An Egyptian swimmer put his skills to the test and broke a Guinness World Record when he swam for over 7 miles while wearing handcuffs. Shelhab Alam, 31, claimed the Guinness World Records title for farthest distance swimming wearing handcuffs when he completed his 7.24-mile swim in the open waters of the Arabian Gulf. So almost 7.25 miles right there. Alam broke the previous record of 5.35 miles set by U.S. swimmer Benjamin Katzman in 2021. The record-breaking swim took Alam about 6 hours to complete. So that is, he's out there, he's swimming with handcuffs for 6 hours. That is incredible endurance. That is amazing. So, but we cannot stand, this Egyptian is showing us up. We gotta get out there with handcuffs and swim for 7 hours for 8.25 miles. USA, USA. Anyway, more from UPI. 5-year-old uses mom's phone to order $4,000 worth of motorcycles and boots. This is why you don't give your kids your phone, people. And they shouldn't be on phones anyway. If they need to be on the phone and entertain themselves, tell them to go outside. Pick fights with a neighbor's kid. Get injured. Develop a childhood. Live life. Get off the damn screen. A Massachusetts mom who let her 5-year-old daughter play with her phone during a car ride was shocked to discover the girl had ordered nearly $4,000 worth of child-sized motorcycles and cowgirl boots on Amazon. Jessica Nunes of Westport said she thought her daughter Lila was playing games on her phone during a recent drive home, but she later discovered the girl had been shopping on Amazon. Nunes discovered Lila had spent $3,922 buying items including 5 child-sized pink dirt bikes, 5 child-sized blue dirt bikes, 10 pairs of women's size 7 cowgirl boots, and a battery-powered child-sized Jeep. Nunes said she was able to cancel the orders for the boots and half of the dirt bikes, but the remaining motorcycles and the Jeep later arrived at her home. Don't give your kids your phone. I covered a story a while ago about this one guy who gave his kid his phone, and he ordered, $5,000 worth of a delivery through Grubhub. Keep your phone away from kids, please, for the sake of your wallet. Moving on up more from UPI here, snailfish set Guinness World Record for deepest observed and caught fish. Alright. Researchers in Japan set a new record for the deepest caught and observed fish in the world. Guinness World Records confirmed on Tuesday, today. Researchers from the University of Western Australia and Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technology observed a pseudolipari, or snailfish, at a depth of 27,349 feet in the Izu Osagara Trench off the coast of Japan. Now remember, we talked about that the world's highest train station was at 11,000 feet. That's not even half as deep as this. So, that's insane. In August, a snailfish was filmed approaching a camera that had been set up with bait to lure deep-sea fish. The same researchers were able to physically catch two P. levidatus snailfish at a depth of 26,247 feet, the deepest any fish has ever been caught. That is one hell of a fishing line there, my friend. Let's move on up. More from UPI. We have another, like a competitor, I guess. Odd News Minute podcast is your daily dose of odd hilarity. UPI has launched the Odd News Minute podcast on Monday. The show will be a daily roundup of the most hilarious or awe-inspiring stories of the day, new world records, critter misadventures, freaky discoveries, serendipitous lottery wins. It's the best news you'll hear all day. So essentially, they're making a show form of what they already do as far as articles. So that sounds pretty cool. I'm going to keep that tab up. I might figure out how to listen in on them. Let's move on up. More from UPI. Ramen shop bans customers from using smartphones while dining. Good. The owner of a ramen noodle eatery in Japan said he is banning customers from using their phones in order to speed up seating times and preserve the integrity of the dish. Alright, that's good. Yeah, it's both they're off their phone, they're focused on their food, they're focused on their conversation, they're not distracted. People come in, people come out. Like you got the restaurants are a revolving door. The longer you're sitting there, that's money that they're not making. So Kodo Kai, owner and operator of Tokyo Eatery Debu-chan, said he noticed the customers who waited the longest to dig into the bowls of ramen noodles placed in front of them tended to be watching YouTube videos on their phones. Kai said he was concerned not only about customers tying up valuable seating space during peak hours, but about the way thin Hakata ramen noodles stretch out and are ruined after too many minutes in the soup. The restaurant owner first pitched the idea of a smartphone ban on Twitter, and positive responses led to his enacting the policy. I fully agree. It's especially when you're sitting there. If you're watching videos and somebody serves you food, put your damn phone down and eat. I mean, like the fact that the food gets ruined after too long, that's another problem. But you go there to eat. You want to sit and watch YouTube videos, stay home. Leave your phone at home. If you can't handle yourself. So. Let's move on up here. More from UPI. Surprises unearthed in 90-year-old San Francisco time capsule. All right. So I'd actually like to watch this myself. A time capsule buried on San Francisco's highest peak was unearthed and opened 90 years later, and the box turned out to contain dozens of surprises. Mayor London Breed and about 250 other spectators attended the event Saturday, which saw the San Francisco Historical Society examining the contents of the time capsule removed after 90 years from its concrete bed at the 103-foot Mountain Davidson Cross. The Historical Society said news reports from 1933 listed only a small handful of items inside the box, including water from the River Jordan, rocks from the Garden of Gethsemane in Jerusalem, local newspapers, and city directories. Officials opened the copper box with a power tool and were surprised to discover more than 30 items, including a preserved olive branch from Jerusalem and a 1933 Bay Area phone book. Official says all the items were remarkably well preserved. So I gotta watch this myself. So yeah, let's move on up here. More from UPI. Zanzibar gecko hid in suitcase stowed away 5,000 miles to England. All right. A West Yorkshire, England couple who waited a few days to unpack their suitcase discovered a baby gecko had stowed away for a 5,000-mile ride from Zanzibar. And this is why, there's things like invasive species. This is why we have customs, because this might be something that has no natural predators in this new area. It might cause an ecological disaster, like that one episode from The Simpsons where Bart stole an egg from Brazil or whatever, and it was some bird eating lizard or whatever, and it turned out to cause an ecological disaster in Springfield. It started eating all the birds, and it had no natural predators, so eventually all the birds in Springfield died, or something like that. So stuff like that actually happens. Like there's an island of cats, because there used to be a mice problem, so they brought in cats. They killed all the mice. They bred. Nothing's killing the cats, and now there's like 4 cats to a person or something. Like there's actual things. So this is not a cutesy wootsy story. This is potentially not good. The RSPCA said the Blackwell Crescent in Wakefield couple were unpacking their suitcase about 4 days after returning from their trip when they spotted something moving inside their bag. The couple managed to capture the tiny creature, a baby gecko, in a plastic container and contacted the RSPCA. So, but how many people do not contact the authorities? They just throw it outside, because like you don't think anything about it. Just a random ass gecko, in your suitcase. But, I mean, yeah. So, let's move on up here from AP News. Circle back. Maine claims biggest ice disk at 1,776 feet. Oh, look at that. 1776. What a good number. So this is obviously artificial. Somebody carved out a giant disk in the ice, it looks like. A free-floating disk of ice. Volunteers cut a big old circle in the frozen lake and set into motion, claiming a world record in a category that few people know exists, the biggest ice carousel. With a diameter of 1776 feet, or 541 meters, the giant piece of ice, estimated at 146,000 tons, moved slowly like a lazy Susan to hoots, hollers, and high fives on Saturday. Northern Maine icebusters had to cut through nearly 30 inches thick of a path painstakingly measured by survey crews to create a perfect circle measuring nearly 6 football fields across. In a previous but fun way to provide in a laborious but fun way to provide entertainment during the long cold winter, it has been turned into something of a rivalry in places like Finland, Minnesota, and Maine. There's even a World Ice Carousel Association. So, alright, so not only did they cut the giant disc, but they somehow got it to slowly spin. That must have been fun. Man, people on the ice, they have all the fun. And hey, to give us a little bit of a recap, last Friday we spoke about a giant Dairy Queen spoon being stolen. Well, it has been discovered now. The spoon spotted, Arizona Dairy Queen's big red spoon found. A giant red spoon that was stolen from Arizona Dairy Queen and sparked a mystery on social media was found Monday morning, and is partly thanks to Pokemon Go. Oh, look at that. Michael Foster, at the age of 52, was playing the outdoor mobile game when he spotted the 15-foot or 4.5-meter spoon at around 7 in the morning. It was lying on the ground behind a fence that surrounds a Phoenix Middle School baseball field, just 2 miles or 3 kilometers from the scene of the heist. Alright. So, good. They found the spoon. That's good. Now, they gotta put the spoon behind a cage, so that way nobody steals it again. And, last but not least, from Ripley's, humans may soon be living twice as long. St. Augustine, Florida hosts the Fountain of Youth, but it has proven pretty stingy on doling out eternal life. That has to be a spelling error. Eternal life over the years. The idea of a living spring of water permitting people to cheat death originated with the Taino Indians. They believe the life-extending aquifer existed on the island of Bimini in the Bahamas, and the river situated in present-day Florida. Once the Spaniard Juan Ponce de Leon arrived on the scene in the 16th century, he became enthralled by the notion, launching a famed quest for immortality. Alright, so the study that challenges how we think about aging, the 89-year-old surfer who won't let age stop him. Yeah, we spoke about him on Friday. So yeah, I guess this is just like more of a thinking piece, not actual news. Then again, this is Ripley's. So anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. For your dose of different, odd and otherwise unusual news, we stream every Tuesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. That's our time schedules, 10 and 2 just for you. For all of you and all of, 2 p.m. Pacific time, which is 3 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Central, and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. Anyway, for all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and you are you. And until you catch us on Friday, or if you're interested in some history, we have a history show every day at 10 in the morning, Pacific Time. That's the 10 and the 10 and 2 just for you, little jingle there we have. Anyway, until whenever, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!